We are taking a live look right now of the plane that has brought Vice President Kamala Harris to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. We did just hear that the plane has landed, as you can see here in this live shot, and the Vice President will be stepping down to deplane momentarily, entering her motorcade, which is expected to make its way to Morehouse College, where she will deliver remarks at around 1:30 as part of her nationwide college tour. Now, the tour is aimed at connecting with and galvanizing young college-age students and young adults to fight for key freedom issues, including voting rights, reproductive freedom, LGBTQ equality rights, and more. So we are going to be bringing you those remarks, but as we get closer to 1:30 right now, we do want to take you to a live picture, a live video of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. You can see that camera moving around as everyone waits for the Vice President to make her way down those steps. Her plane has officially landed in Atlanta, and she will be making her way to Morehouse College momentarily. So let's follow along, and we do believe she will be stepping off of the plane in just a few moments. That plane just landing at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The Vice President officially in Atlanta. And as we wait for the Vice President to make her way down those steps off of the plane, again, just touching down at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, I want to take you through our website right now, where you can also find this live stream. By the way, if you have our free Atlanta News First app, it's a great tool to catch live streams like these, breaking news, push alerts, and any developments, specifically this one, where you can anticipate some traffic impacts. As with any senior government official like the Vice President, you can expect security measures to be taken. And I do believe, I'm going to bring this shot back just for a moment, that is Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens coming over to greet the Vice President. We will expect to see them have a brief exchange as he welcomes her to the world's busiest airport. A thumbs up from one of our photojournalists there. And I do believe the Vice President will be stepping off momentarily. As she steps off, I'll take you back here through some anticipated traffic impacts. I want to show you the routes that she may take. Now, I want to clarify that they do not tell us the routes she's going to take, again, out of the safety precaution. But with a little digging and research, there are a couple different ways to get to Morehouse College from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, thanks to Google Maps. So we'll take you through some of those routes, and maybe you can avoid those as best as possible. Don't want to run into those temporary road closures or interstate closures and get stuck. Right now, if you are near the airport, it's best to make your way out of the way of the route out of Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport leading to I-85 North. That is for sure going to be the direction that the motorcades head as they make their way to Morehouse College. They will be getting onto I-85 North, and from there are a couple of different routes they can be taken But if you are one of those people who are picking someone up from the airport, or you yourself are planning to leave the airport, luckily you've caught this stream, just be prepared for some possible temporary closures as the Vice President makes her way from the airport to Morehouse College. And there is Vice President Kamala Harris stepping off as she makes her way to the ground of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Of course, our lovely Mayor Andre Dickens there to greet her, as well as Senator Warnock. As you can see them exchanging some brief words, some well wishes, as she prepares to make her way to Morehouse College. All right, there's a little side-by-side for you. The Vice President, of course, herself talking with Senator Warnock, Mayor Andre Dickens. Let me bring down that volume so you can hear me a little better. And then on your right-hand side, and we just lost, but it was our weather camera showing you a live sky tower view of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Just zoomed in on the plane so you could see it for one last moment. But there she is, Kamala Harris, dressed in a brown pantsuit, talking with Senator Warnock, talking with, I believe, and I may be mistaken, but I believe that is Nikema Williams, and talking with, of course, Mayor Andre Dickens before she makes her way to Morehouse College. And like I mentioned at the start of this stream, there are going to be some traffic impacts. Naturally, with any senior government official, there are precautions that need to be taken. So I'm going to bring you out a little bit here. I'll keep a live picture up for you so you can follow the Vice President. But here's our website, and I only bring it up not to make you read a bunch in a small screen, but to take you down here to our traffic maps that we've put together for you. And as she makes her way to the motorcade, we'll hopefully have that shot back in a second. I'll take you back out to those traffic maps so you can anticipate the closures. I do believe we will have that shot returned momentarily. In the meantime, while we wait for that, let me bring you out to our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. This is also available on your phone on the Atlanta News First app. Here's that route. We are going to go through them. There's 3 different routes that the Vice President can take. Again, they do not tell media ahead of time what route that will be. We kind of find out as we go. But based off of the only possible routes to get, or the most common routes to get to Morehouse College, the first one is going to be I-85 North to Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. And I do believe we have that shot back. So there you go. Bringing the Vice President back into view. I'm going to keep that map on the right-hand side. This is the first option that she could take, and the commute that you can expect. This is about 11.4 miles from the airport to Morehouse College's main campus, where we are expecting that motorcade to arrive with the vice president. Right now, she is talking to some supporters, some Atlanta residents, taking pictures before she makes her way to the motorcade. She has a good amount of time to get there. Again, this is, 15-20 minute commute, and she isn't expected to deliver her remarks until 1:30. We do expect her at Morehouse College by then, but that gives us, an hour and a half. So she's chatting with some folks, taking her time, making sure that she says hello to everyone who came out to watch her landing. All right, moving on to option number 2 for traffic impacts. And I'll tell you some of the areas you're going to want to avoid. I-85 North, for sure. You just want to make sure if you're going anywhere near the airport, I-85 North is likely going to either have lane closures or a temporary closure altogether. Option number 2 she can take would be to take I-85 all the way to exit 77, and then that motorcade from there would turn onto 166 West, that it's in the East Point area, toward exit 154. If you need a landmark for that, that puts you near Tyler Perry Studios. So following that route, Lee Street to Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard would be impacted. You can expect those temporary closures. Now, for my airport people, taking you back out here, and I do believe I have that airport shot back, so let me adjust my screen here for you for a moment. There we go. So Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport. You can kind of see the size of all of those people that came out to greet the vice president, close up on your left, on your right-hand side from our Atlanta News First Sky Tower Cam of Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport. As the vice president still talking to some folks, her motorcades lined up, ready to depart, but not in any rush. Again, her speaking engagement, her remarks are happening at 1:30. Morehouse College is about a 20-minute drive, if not less. So from there, again, option number 3, take you back out to this map temporarily. Bear with me as I switch back here. Option number 3, final traffic option. The motorcade could take a 9.3 mile route, and that would go from I-85 North all the way to exit 76. That is along Cleveland Avenue. From there, the motorcades would travel along US 19 North. That would put them to Metropolitan Parkway and onto Spelman Lane. So those areas, for most of us that drive around Atlanta, get a lot more familiar. You can expect Greens Ferry Avenue, Lashy Street, and Atlanta Student Boulevard, as well as Fair Street, to be impacted because the motorcade would cross over through those areas on its way to Morehouse College. All right, bringing that live shot back. I won't bother you with any more traffic routes, but make sure you have the Atlanta News First app. Any traffic alerts, traffic delays will push to that app so you don't miss a thing. If you are an airport goer, just expect temporary closures during that time that the motorcade is exiting out of the airport. And just a note while we're talking about possible traffic impacts, the Vice President's arrival, for those of you just joining us at the beginning of this stream, I mentioned that the Vice President, really throughout the stream, is delivering remarks at Morehouse College. This is part of her nationwide tour. Again, it's called the Fight for Our Freedoms College Tour. The vice president is going to 7 different states and almost a dozen colleges where she will talk to college-age students, young adults, the new generation entering the working world, to talk about reproductive freedom, gun safety laws, climate change, voting rights, LGBTQ plus equality, things that really impact that age group and that group of people, to talk about some of the administration's efforts in those key issues and to really motivate and push those young adults to get involved, to fight for what they believe in, to fight for those key issues. So that's what we can expect at Morehouse College, just based off of what the vice president has previously said about her Fight for Our Freedoms College Tour and about her previous visits at different colleges around the U.S. Today she is in Atlanta. Her focus is on Morehouse College, but it's really a little bit more than that. She's trying to talk to several college-age students, young adults, that might feel strongly about those particular issues. They're key issues for the Biden administration. So while she is talking specifically to Morehouse College students, a part of her aim is to reach really anyone that is passionate about these issues and to get them to want to get involved and to get them motivated and access ways to get involved, as well as, of course, push the Biden administration's efforts and how they are leading their own fight in these issues, whether it be throughout the executive and legislative branches and really throughout her own speeches and ability to connect to these students. So right now we're taking a look at Vice President Kamala Harris from a bit of a distant view, but she's there in the crowd right next to those motorcades. Here in a moment, I'll bring my graphic down for a little bit. We can expect those motorcades to take off with the vice president, and again, making its way to Morehouse College, about a 20-minute, maybe less than 20-minute commute. There's a couple different ways she can get there, but again, all of that information, those traffic impacts, airport impacts, are going to be on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. For those of you just joining us, you can't really see the vice president right now at this very moment, but if you keep an eye out for a light brown pantsuit, that is the vice president. She's standing in the middle of that crowd. You can see Secret Service very vigilantly monitoring the surrounding area as people stand behind those gated bars, taking pictures with her, shaking her hand, trying to get a conversation with the vice president. Those are Atlanta residents. Those are people, supporters of Vice President Kamala Harris, who just wanted to come out and watch her land and see her enter that motorcade and take off from Morehouse College. You know, it is not every day the vice president does make her way out to Atlanta. It's happened a couple times throughout this year, but for those that wanted to be there for this moment, they made their way out. They were standing there for a little bit as her plane landed at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and they will remain there as she takes off in her motorcade. And there she goes, entering the motorcade and taking off here momentarily for Morehouse College. We'll briefly go over those traffic impacts you can expect here in a moment, but I just want to leave the screen up so you can watch that motorcade take off. The Vice President landing in Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, making her way to Morehouse College. This is again for her Fight for Our Freedoms College Tour. It is a tour that involves speaking at almost 12 other colleges, nearly a dozen other colleges across 7 states. So she has a busy few months for this tour, but she said this is something she's passionate about. This is a conversation around key issues central to the Biden administration: reproductive freedom, gun safety laws, climate change, voting rights, gender and identity, equality, and that is some of the issues that she is going to be speaking about at Morehouse College, or we can expect her to speak about to these young students who are going to have the opportunity to attend and to hear the Vice President speaking at their school. So this motorcade, I do believe that first vehicle is taking off, then the second, and in a line they follow, making their way onto I-85 North, and from there a couple different routes that they can take, but ultimately the path ends at Morehouse College. That is where the Vice President will be delivering her speech at 1:30. And just to take you back to our Atlanta News First web page, as we lose that shot of the motorcade taking off from the airport, officially en route to Morehouse College, where the Vice President will be delivering remarks. Here is that webpage. We're carrying the live stream on this webpage as well, but detailing this Fight for Our Freedoms College tour that she is doing, her reason for being here in Atlanta today, but also for a lot of people that are trying to plan their day around this, traffic impacts. We don't know the exact route the Vice President is planning to take. However, we do know there are only a couple ways to get to Morehouse College, a lot of more common ways to get to Morehouse College, and they all pretty much include I-85 North. So real quick, just to give you your traffic impacts, you can go to this website and get more details, but she is right now headed to I-85 northbound, or the motorcade I should say, is headed there. From there it will travel 11.4 miles to Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. That is if they take this first route option outlined here on a Google Maps that I embedded into our website. Another route she can take is I-85 North still, but over through Georgia 154, that's eastbound. That involves exit 77, exit 154, that area near Tyler Perry Studios, Lee Street, and ultimately Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. And then, of course, the last option, I-85 North and US 19 northbound along US Highway 41. Again, that impacts exit 76, US 19 north to Metropolitan Parkway, and leading all the way up to Spelman Lane and ultimately Morehouse College. So Greens Ferry Avenue, Lachey Street, and Atlanta Student Boulevard, Fair Street would all be impacted. Here's a look from inside of the motorcade. Actually, that is an impressive shot. A press shot from inside of the motorcade so we can follow along to see which route the Vice President is taking, but do expect road closures if you are near that area or along one of these common routes to Morehouse College. And the vice president is pulling up at this moment to Morehouse College for her speaking event. This is part of her nationwide tour where she will be talking to college students across 7 different states. Nearly a dozen of college campuses she's visiting as part of this tour to talk about some of those key issues that are central to her and the Biden administration, and trying to galvanize this next generation of workers, and as she describes them, the next generation of leaders, to fight for key issues like reproductive rights, LGBTQ plus equality, voting rights, and so much more. So we'll be delivering that coverage to you at 1:30 from Morehouse College. Our Atlanta News First team is on the ground at Morehouse College right now as we speak, and we will bring you full coverage on Atlanta News First Plus. Make sure you tune in.